For you, obviously being a guy who's a fifth-year senior and could have a chance to go to the NFL after this season, just what were the emotions of this past couple months like with not knowing whether you'd get to play this fall and then finally getting that opportunity?
Yeah, it was frustrating, for a lot of it, and just the ups and downs were really hard at times, but just kind of leaned on our guys, and in the unit, in the offense, and obviously we got a good outcome out of it. But yeah, it was a little stressful there for a while.
For a guy like you who's going into, what could be your final season here at Ohio State, like what's it like kind of having this shortened season and not having fans at home? How do you kind of adapt to that?
We're gonna have to bring our own energy. I was just talking to Coach Mick about it the other day. The fans bring so much when you're at home, and you can kind of get on a rally and get them going, and it brings the energy up. So we're gonna have to create that on the sideline a little bit. So I mean, it's definitely unique. Obviously, it's unique for everybody in every situation right now. Nothing is normal, so we just got to play with our strengths and use them to make up for that stuff.
Thanks, Luke.
Next up, Tony Girdman with Buckeye Scoop and Patrick Murphy on deck. Tony?
Luke, tight ends and receivers and all of those guys doing a lot of 7-on-7s, but that's you do more than that as a tight end. So how do you work on your physicality in this time without pads to make sure you guys don't lose that as well as tight ends?
Don't got to worry about that. Coach Wilson's got it taken care of. We do it every day, individual drill, whether it's with, we have shoulder pads on or we just got the little shield. We're working on pad level, base, feet, hands, power every day. So it's not something that we can really let slip because it's just like muscle memory and just constant, the thousands of reps we've gotten at it.
Kevin Wilson talked about the increasing the pace of play and practice. How will that help you during the season? What will that become on the field then for you guys?
Just how we've been doing in practice, just being able to kind of move the ball a little bit, get like game-like situations, just get back into the swing of it. There's like a certain tempo of playing a real live drive that you don't really get anywhere else. So it's been nice to be able to do that in practice as frequently as we have, recently to just get the conditioning, get into the rhythm of a drive and a series and everything. It's been good.
Thanks.
Next up, Patrick Murphy with 24/7 Sports and Tim Hall on deck. Patrick?
Luke, what does a perfect senior season, now that you know what it's going to look like for you, both individually and as a team?
It's hard to look at the whole thing as one. We got it all over the screens here. We're just focused on winning game one. Working on Nebraska, but obviously being at Ohio State, we have high expectations every year, and I think we can, as an offense, be one of the most prolific offenses we've seen around here, if not in like college football. So we have high expectations for the offense and for the team. And then I just know with those expectations, my individual stuff will come. I don't have to really necessarily worry about that. If we're successful as an offense, I'll be successful as an individual.
And what have you seen from Jake so far this offseason, this preseason? He's a guy who we haven't seen a ton of throughout his career. What's he looking like?
He's been great. I think the whole unit's been coming along, but especially past two seasons, really, he's been just made huge improvements in every aspect of his game, and we've really seen that since last season. Just didn't get as many opportunities to show that on game day, but we're just like functioning so smoothly as a unit. We can just, doesn't matter who's in there, they'll get the job done, and he definitely contributes to that, no question.
Thanks, Luke.
Mentioning honors with Luke, he will be one of about a half a dozen legitimate academic All-American candidates on the Buckeyes team this year. Moving on, we will go with Tim Hall from 97.1 FM, The Fan. And then we're going to start over with Brendan Gulick on deck. If anybody wants to, who has joined late and wants to ask a question, just shoot me a message in the chat with who you want to talk to. Tim, you're up.
Hey, thanks, Jerry. Luke, I'm sure the coaches talk your ear off on how there's more to playing the tight end position than catching passes, but I think it's been since 95, Ricky Dudley, I want to say, where there was a 500-yard receiver. Do you guys hit about that? Is there friendly competition? Who's going to be the first one to reach that benchmark, anything like that?
Among the tight end unit, I mean, we don't really talk about numbers like that. We're always lobbying to get the tight end the ball, no matter who it is. Can we get that, special play in that week to, give us a chance to get that extra opportunity. But, I mean, I haven't talked to those guys about numbers like that. But, yeah, I mean, just looking for that opportunity and just showing that we can do every aspect of what a tight end does.
And between you and Jake and Jeremy, you guys kind of provide some different skill sets. What is it specifically for you that you're trying to improve on in 2020? We obviously had a lot of time, just at home to isolate those specific things. And like Coach Wilson said, we were watching, the NFL guys, a bunch of NFL tight ends and how they do things. And so, in regards to the pass game, I guess I was really focused on, getting a good release off the line, bursting in and out of cuts, being a taller guy, just being able to get in and out of cuts fast and drop my hips and everything. And just that suddenness and the burst. And then in the run game, just continuing try to keep my hips down and hands inside and just all that, just more dominating blocks rather than just covering a guy up or something. Thanks.
Actually, Brendan, I'm going to interrupt you here. I had one more guy that hadn't asked a question yet. Next up, Spencer Holbrook with Letterman Row and Brendan Gulick on deck. Spencer?
Sorry for the delay. Luke, when Coach Wilson just talked about Justin looking stronger, faster, and the version we saw of him last year was about as good as you would think you could get. What have you seen his improvement? Where have you seen him improve this year? Because it seemed like last year was about the best he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So where have you seen him take that next step as a guy who blocks for him and catches passes from him?
Yeah, definitely physically. Obviously, he's doing anything and everything he can to get better. But, something else that Coach Wilson mentioned that I think I've noticed the most is just the leadership aspect. Obviously, he was a new guy coming in last year, but he's made huge strides in being an outspoken leader of our offense and our team. And I think that has just rallied everybody around him even more than when he was producing on the field. What he's doing off the field is incredible. So I think that's just brought up everybody around him.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next up, and this will be the last question for Luke. Next up, Brendan Gulick with Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated with Jeremy Birmingham on deck. Brendan?
Hey, Luke, I want to ask you a kind of a personal question. I'm really interested to know when you realized you fell in love with football and when you also realized, I think I could be really good at this game and could play at a high level, both collegiately and potentially at the professional level.
I pretty much fell in love with it, I think, right when I started playing, maybe even before, because, I always wanted to play because, I have an older brother that played, and I was always asking because we always played. We played soccer in elementary school. So third grade, I switched over, and I think right away, I played, I think, fullback and defensive end, and it was just they told me on defense, go to the ball, and I was like, awesome. That's all I wanted to do. So it was just so much fun, and that pretty much carried on with whatever position I was playing. I played running back. I played center in middle school. I was receiver, and then finally switched to tight end. I think sophomore year of high school. And I think when I realized I could be really good was not really until maybe I got a phone call through my head coach in high school from Coach Meyer,
and just actually being on the phone with him was like, oh, okay, this is real. Like I can actually do something with this. So that was, pretty big for me just to say like, hey, you can maybe take this somewhere.
And as a quick follow-up to that, how have you let that love of the game grow and drive you to try and be better and push your own limits?
It's just anything we do here, just learning how to become better is more fun than learning to do almost anything else. As I got here into the more like football IQ stuff, it just was so interesting to me how you can elevate your game like mentally, which you don't really do a ton.